Mr. Terrell?
Sorry, if you would please wait for
Oh, sure.
microphone.
As opposed to using my teacher voice. Sure, would you?
Sure.
Thanks. So thank you, Mr. Terrell, and congratulations on your appointment as chair of the board in a very, very challenging time. And I also want to thank Mr. Fallon, who has always been very hospitable to me and to my union. I am here my name is Randi Weingarten, and I am here in my capacity as a shareholder, as a representative of the AFT, as a representative of the Albert Shanker Institute, representing the Chicago Teachers Pension Fund, and hundreds of thousands of educators and public employees whose pensions are invested in Pearson. And my question is, I want you to reconsider. When I walked in today, I saw that as I was filling out my voting card, that the board has suggested a vote no to shareholder resolution 19, and I am asking the board to reconsider that suggestion for the following reasons. We brought shareholder resolution 19 after years of direct engagement with the Pearson management. The resolution simply calls on Pearson, the board, as opposed to the management, to review its business plan with two specific issues and areas that we wish you to focus on: the high-stakes testing in the global north and the low-fee schools in the global south. And this is why. The education landscape has completely changed in the United States of America, which I'm surprised was not acknowledged in the earlier report. And that is, I would argue to you, one of the reasons why you have a decrease in the share price and a decrease in the value since the last AGM. The new federal law in the United States has provided a reset on education policy, particularly in the acknowledgement that high-stakes testing is not the way to go, that teaching the whole child and attending to her well-being is now much more the focus in the United States and much more the focus in terms of the road to school success and children's success. Sadly, Pearson's business model does not adapt to that. The Pearson business model is still very focused on high-stakes testing, as I think Mr. Fallon suggested when he focused on simply outputs as opposed to on children. The change happened in the United States as a result of stakeholder advocacy and the evidence that high-stakes testing and sanctions is a fundamentally flawed policy. And what has happened to Pearson is because it is associated with that policy, the brand damage has hugely hurt business and profits and has hugely hurt the brand with parents and teachers throughout the United States. So that is why we came to you, because you are the biggest education company in the world, have the biggest footprint, have a potential to do so many good things in working with us. That's why we came to you and said, change the trajectory, do a different kind of business plan, one that is aligned with what kids need to know and be able to do in a global economy, and one that is aligned with bringing back the joy of learning and teaching in schools throughout the country. Now, I know that my time is short, and so I won't go through how the business plan right now specifically hurts that, except to say that when there are gag orders in contracts, I know you call them something else, and I know sometimes it is the state governments that want them as opposed to you that want them, but when there are things like that, then you can never do what Mr. Fallon just said about using these tests as for diagnostic purposes. They are used for high-stakes consequential purposes, and there is a huge rift now in the United States about that. The last piece I will say, and I'm going to ask my colleague to my right, Mugwena Malaki, who's the General Secretary of the South African Democratic Teachers Union and a vice president for Africa at EI. I will ask him to focus on the second piece because, again, I know my time is short. But simply to say that we want to work with you as partners. But when the business plan focuses so much on something that is now antithetical in terms of helping children succeed in the global north, and something that in terms of low-fee schools, which have actually increased inequity, increased privatization, and decreased the ability to help all children succeed in the global south, which Mr. Malecki is going to talk about, when that happens, that is why I would argue the share price and the brand damage has been so great. So for all of these reasons, we ask you to reconsider your objection to having a business review and having a change of course. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Weingarten. A question before Mr. Malecki speaks, but he will be the next person
sure.
to ask.
Thank you.
First of all, thank you for your comments originally on me.